Longines FEI Jumping World Cup. Longines' passion for the equestrian world dates back to 1869. Today, the brand is involved in the most important equestrian events around the world. On this occasion, the brand is privileged to present the official watch of the event, a model from the Longines Master Collection. Both boldly feminine and technically sophisticated, this model for women achieves the perfect balance between classic elegance and high performance, and will delight those wishing to pursue both fine watchmaking and timeless style. Longines se engurgullece.
Well, hello and welcome here to Puebla. We are getting ready for the first kind of big feature competition of the week. We're all looking ahead, of course, to the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup. That takes place here on Saturday, but the riders have got to get themselves qualified for that, and that's what today's all about, really. Some good horses coming forward, actually, and a good mixture in the field. We've got some young ones in there. Some of the horses that we see, on the world stage at venues like Spruce Meadows. I'm Adam Cromarty. Great to have you along with me. If you're watching on YouTube or the FEI Facebook page, then don't forget you'll be able to get involved with the conversation. If you've got any questions you want to ask, then you can drop them in the comments box below. Same applies whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. I'll be keeping an eye on both. And if you want to have a look at any of the start lists or keep up to date with the live scoring, you can just look for longinetiming.com. You'll be able to find the event and the class on there. And if you have, then what you see on screen is what you'll find there as well. These are the runners and riders that we will see here. In this one, Nicolas Pizarro is going to be in there. That's a relatively new horse on his string. Patricio Pascual and Babel, that's a horse we've seen jump all over the world. Nicola Heinross has got a good string at the moment. Bordeaux will be coming forward for him. And a few younger riders in the field as well. Sophia Michel in there. She's about 18, 19 years of age. Francisco Pascual on the board there too. So, a real good field coming forward. About 40 in total. And it's a jump-off format here, so any tie for first place after round number 1 means we're off to a jump-off against the clock. Good to see a few different flags on there. Misty Cassar for the USA, Argentina, Mexico, of course, well represented here. And the amount of horsepower they've got here in Mexico just keeps growing and growing. A couple of withdrawals, so we're down from 40 to 37. We'll keep you up to date with that as things progress here. But great to have everybody joining us on YouTube and on Facebook Live as well. And those first combinations will just be out in the warm-up. Now, we were here last year for this event, and a lot's changed since then. This was a big grass field last year, and they have put so much work in to put, a world-class surface into this arena. And it's looking pretty spectacular right there, isn't it? And the warm-up isn't too far away either. They've got a short kind of little hill to go up, and it takes them from the warm-up into this main arena. And when they arrive, they're going to find this track set by Marina Azevedo, who's a level 4. She's the only female level 4, so Olympic level course designer. She was here last year. Good to see her make her return. And in this first round, there's going to be 13 efforts. It's been measured, though, at 390 meters, and that means time allowed set at 67 seconds. So 67 seconds will be that time allowed here in the first round. Best of luck to all our athletes. As I say, final preparations being made, and then we'll see that first combination come forward in just a sec. You can see the gate they'll be coming in and out there. Just towards the middle of your screen there, that big archway is the in-out gate of this arena in Puebla, Mexico. And it's a great setting. The backdrop is absolutely spectacular. It's about an hour and a half from Mexico Airport. It really is a spectacular backdrop. I had a walk of this course, and I think it's testing enough. I think Marina's laid out plenty of tests, plenty of questions on course but also made it very achievable as well. And I think she's taken into account not only the specs of the competition and what she has to include, but also the horses that we've got, because it is a real varied field. You know, we've got some of the younger ones, we've got a fair few who are stepping up today. And then, of course, we've got the more experienced ones that we're used to seeing on the World Cup circuit at venues like Spruce Meadows. So a lot of variety in the field today. But we are just about a minute away from seeing that first partnership come forward to join us here in this 4-star competition. Height of the fences out there standing at about 1.50 meters. Some big square oxers on course as well. And Marina's used every single inch of this track. But we are set, we are ready to get underway. Once again, best of luck to all involved here. And if you have just joined us on Facebook Live, or if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you get involved with that conversation. You can use the comments box below, and I'll be keeping an eye on those as things progress. Juan Jose Zendias is going to be getting us underway. He brings with him a horse called Tino La Chapelle. This is a 16-year-old. It's by My Lord Cathargo. It's got Verdi lines in there as well. And this is one he knows very, very well indeed. Kirsten co-rode the horse briefly when it came over from Europe. Since then, Juan Jose's taken over the ride, and it's been a great horse for him. He's had wins in Guadalajara, Balvanera, some of the biggest stages, you know, 5-star wins at Spruce Meadows. I saw him there last September. He was placed well. He's going to be a good pathfinder. We're going to be starting over this vertical fence number 1, just the red and black rails, gets them underway. A left-handed turn, sends them round up towards that in-out gate and the oxer at fence 2. Now we loop back round, vertical at fence 3 that we're about to see, and then quite a long 7 strides is going to send them down towards this oxer at 4. Triple combination comes next, so it's right-handed round the bottom corner, upright in, oxer in the middle, upright out, and it's 1 stride to 2 stride. Just has that rail coming in, quite an attacking canter off the corner there, and just caught the front rail. 7 or 8 strides brings you to the square oxer at 6 off the corner. Then you want to keep the time allowed in the back of your mind as you set up and come across the arena to the oxer at 7. Left-handed, quite a delicate vertical, and it's all going to be about setting up for this, getting the canter back where you need it. Round the corner to the double now. Oxer coming in at 9A. 1 stride through that distance, then the vertical at B, and quite a kind of normal 6 stride distance brings you down towards fence number 10. 3 efforts left, round towards this oxer at 11. And this is 5 strides in here, and I thought it was just a little bit short, so I think we might see them again just, you know, use that upper body, take a check as we jump the vertical at 12, and then we finish over this oxer at fence number 13. 87.73 is the time. Just picks up 4 jumping faults, a little bit of time as well. 2 of those. Originally on my course plan, the time allowed was set at 67 seconds. That's been adjusted to 86. So he's going to pick up 2 time faults. And 8 for jumping. So that was our first to go. Juan Jose Zendias and Tino La Chapelle. Fabian Sahanis comes next. Creflo d'Estes, 11-year-old gelding this one. Got some good lines, including Babalo du Roe with this horse. Fabian was part of the team that represented Argentina at the Tokyo Olympic Games. And although this horse is an 11-year-old, it's actually quite low mileage. Fabian's done some good work with the horse, though. He's starting to move him up the levels a little bit. And in Monterey, towards the end of last year, he had some good clears at 2-star level. Now, the technicality that we see out there, it really is a 4-star course. It's what you'd expect. Height of the fence is a little bit bigger. But Fabian's certainly got that, you know, talent and experience just to get everything that he needs out of this course. see him really using that kind of room around the corner to set up, but he's not going too wide. You know, he's keeping that time allowed in the back of his mind. And just to confirm again, that time allowed is now set at 86 seconds. And these riders are all used to riding at speeds, so they know roughly what time they're up to at what part of the course. Occasionally they might take a glance at the screen as well, especially in competition where the time is quite tight. I think this should be quite achievable though, as long as they keep moving forward. And the speed of the competition, obviously having a big factor. Again, on my course plan it's set at 350 meters a minute. Normally you'd expect this to be 375. Just catches that one rail, 81.25. 86 seconds time allowed, so no issues whatsoever with the time. Very achievable, but it is going to be 4 faults there for Manuel Gonzalez de Frey. And Hortesa van der Lerweg. Quick change in the order there. So that was Manuel Gonzalez de Frey. And then Fabian's going to be coming next. Again, if you have just joined us on Facebook Live or YouTube, feel free to get involved with the conversation. If there's any questions you want to ask, you can drop them in that comments box below. This is Fabian now. Fabian Sahanis for Argentina. Corefla de Extes. And this is a combination who went to the Tokyo Olympics. That's a horse that keeps that kind of nice rhythmical canter. You can see if he needs to take a little adjustment, the horse comes back to him. It's almost like an accordion. You can open it up or you can shorten. Oh, that was lucky there. You could hear him rub that rail and it hung on in there. I think he's used his luck up now. Looking good so far, not too far to go now. 70 seconds, 16 seconds to get home. Oh. Just caught up with him, didn't he? You can see him rubbing in, and he just ran out of room down that related distance. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, you know, when we looked at the course for the first time, it's 5 strides down there, but when I walked it was a little bit short. So I think you want to keep that in the back of your mind as you come off the corner, and you need to think about that as you land there as well. And just ticks over the time. So 4 jumping, 1 time fault, total of 5 there for Fabian, 86.66. This is where he just kind of ran out of room, got really deep, almost underneath the fence, and just catches that rail. And remember, you know, all those top rails have now got to be on those yellow cups. And they're a little bit shallower. Lots of people joining us though on Facebook Live. Who have we got? Heather Piat Fisher's on there. Jackie D, good to have you with us. Samantha Doyle's on there. Pat's Hassett as well. If you want to just say hello or tell me where you're watching, you can do that as well. Stick it in the comments box below. If there's any questions, anything you want to ask, then you can do that. Let's get this one underway though. Alberto Sanchez Quasar and Catover. This is a 14-year-old horse by Katoki out of a contact knee mare. This is a horse that we're probably more used to seeing with, you know, Rodrigo Lambre and Mario Agnati, who's ridden it in the past. But Alberto took over the reins last year, and he's already had some wins at 150 level. And this is an event that kind of runs over the 2 weeks, obviously 2 separate events, but last week there was a 2-star on here. Alberto was jumping this horse, and another one that he's quite well known with, Union du Lanatria, and had some good results with both actually. But this was an exciting addition to his string when he took over the reins. And assuming we get a jump off, this horse is probably a little bit of a slower mover, but in a big arena like this, he can, you know, take strides out wherever he needs to. Whoa. Doesn't have to work in there. Nice recovery. That was nice reactive riding as well. Fishy's on through, 84.26, so there's our first clear. Alberto Sanchez Cozar and Catover gives us our first clear in the competition. And that was great riding from 11 to 12. You know, he didn't quite get what he wanted, but he knew that was the case. He really used that upper body and found that distance somehow. So nice job from him. Gives us that first clear. Alberto Sanchez Cozar and Catover. If you've just joined us, it's a jump-off format, so we're now looking for that second clear to guarantee that jump-off against the clock. Miguel Maron next to go with this 11-year-old gelding. Kean, he brought the horse out as a 9-year-old, jumping 130s and 135s. Produced him all the way up through the grades. Was jumping not too badly here last week, and just at the end of last year he was in Monterey with this horse. That's not the start to his campaign here this week he wanted. He's going to just use a bit of time and get himself organised. We know that time allowed, of course, will come into play now as well. I'm sure we'll see that again in the replay, but you know, it's quite a kind of simple line. It is going past the gate. You wouldn't expect that to affect the horses at this level. Certainly got plenty of scope, this one, hasn't it? Quick across the ground. Occasionally over these oxers, the horse just hangs up in the air a little bit. And that would waste, you know, an extra fraction of a second. But that won't worry him too much now with that stop. He knows he's kind of out of contention, and it's all about, you know, completing the competition for one, so that he is eligible to go forward if he wants to jump here on Saturday in the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup. We're all kind of used to those time faults. You know, it used to be 1 for 4. Last year it changed to 1 for 1. We're kind of used to that now, but you can see it's got a bucket load of faults. 31 in total, 108.45 there. And most of that coming from the clock. And of course, just having that rail down as well. The horse has got so much to like.
Entra la pista el número 7, representando a México, Federico Fernández.
Nadia's Blog says hi from Denmark. Good to have you with us. Diary of a Diabetic's watching in Scotland, where I'm from originally. I was there actually a couple of weeks ago, up in Edinburgh. But great to have you all watching from around the world. Melissa's watching in Texas. Becca's from Ethiopia. Pat's in West Clare Island. Judy in Washington. Again, if you have just joined us, feel free to hit the share button. Let all your friends know they can enjoy this as well. Share it to any equestrian groups that you're a member of. And get involved with the conversation. Let me know where you're watching from. Any questions, let me know. And we'll get Federico Fernandez underway. A long-time companion of his called Davidoff. And this is a man who's done it all. You know, 3 Olympics, 6 World Equestrian Games, 3 Pan American Games. It's a horse he's taken all over the world with him. And I would imagine this will be one to watch in the World Cup here on Saturday. Had some good finishes at Spruce Meadows last September. But you know, Federico does split his time. You see him over in Europe quite a bit. This has been such a useful horse for him. It's by a stallion called Olympic Fire. It's 14 years of age now, but you know, it sort of jumps like a youngster. Really enjoys the job. Although those 4 faults were a little bit unlucky there, it's going to set him up nicely for Saturday. You can see that adjustability down that distance as well. He's built those channels of communication up over the years. 86.05, so 4 jumping, 1 time. Total of 5 there for Federico Fernandez. Pops him into 3rd place at the moment, just the 1 clear. That came from Alberto Sanchez Cozar. And I thought he was going to get away with that. I think if it had been in those old white cups, you know, the deeper cups, I think he may have got away with that. But these new shallow yellow cups we've got to have make everything even more delicate than they were already. Melanie Bartley's watching on Facebook Live, says her heritage is Scottish. A lot of people over here say that as well, don't they? You know, they've got heritage from over there. I hope you go over and visit. I was up at Glencoe when I was there, one of my favourite places to visit in Scotland. Melanie now watching in London, so perhaps you do actually, because you're not that far away. I thought you were based over in North America. How high in feet is the highest jump on course? I have no idea, because I work in meters. This is a question from Linda G's watching on YouTube. It's 1 meter 50. I'm sure if you ask Google, Google will tell you, because we need to concentrate on this man, Nicholas Pizarro, Oak Grove's Endicu, already on course. Nico's had so many nice horses over the years. And a real good human being as well. First part of the triple combination coming down. Won the 2-star Grand Prix here with this horse last week. And this is again a horse, you know, we've seen travel over the world. He spent a lot of time in Europe last season. We saw him jumping the horse at Aachen. Took the horse to Nations Cup finals. So it's a real world-class type. And just to have that unlucky rail here today. Sometimes, you know, you'll see in this format of competition, if they do have a rail down, they'll then pick up the pace a little bit to try and be a fast 4 faulter, because that'll hopefully earn you some prize money, you know, if you can get up there on the leaderboard, depending on how many clears we have. But he's going to finish on 4, second fastest of the 4 faulters, but by 1/100th of a second. So he finished in 81.26 on the 4, and then Manuel Gonzalez de Frey finished on 4 in 81.25. So very, very close on the 4 faulters, but he's going to head into 3rd place at this stage. Maggie Abrams says, did you miss a lot? You've missed 7, Maggie, but we've got about another 30 to come. Larry's watching in Idaho. Everlasting Show watching on YouTube Live. And here's Patricio Pascual coming next. We talked a little bit about world-class horses. Well, this one would definitely fit into that category. He's took the horse to Nations Cup in Gijón. Had a bit of a tour when he was over there. That was last season. And had a Grand Prix win at Spruce Meadows last summer as well, and the 5 stars there. He's taken this horse to the Pan Am Games, taken it to the Worlds. And he manages this horse's career now so carefully. You can see the horse playing. He's actually 16 years of age, this gelding. Is still playing. And it's good that Patricio's now got those extra horses on his string, that he really can, you know, not rely on this horse too much. see him just resisting a little bit round the corner. So Patricio got him set up and then just sat really quiet. Still just sitting on one clear though. We need another to guarantee us a jump off today. I'm sure we're going to see one. I would reckon we'll have maybe 7, 8 clears in this. But we'll see how things progress. As I mentioned at the beginning, you know, it's a real variety, the field today. We do have those younger horses, or the horses that are stepping up. Then we've got horses like this one who have, you know, been everywhere and done everything. So I think we'll see, you know, this course ride in 2 different ways today. Is this going to be jump off time though? Yes it is, he's through. It's 82.78. Jump off guaranteed, courtesy of Patricio Pascual of Mexico. He gives us that second clear, already in good company alongside Alberto Sanchez Cozar. That's a real quality horse. We'll see him back for that jump off a little bit later on. Geraldine Grant's just joined us on Facebook Live, watching in Prince Edward Island. Christine Williams is in Nantwich in Cheshire. Good to have you with us. And this is one of the younger riders in the field, actually. 23-year-old Claudia Michel next. 13-year-old mare she brings with her, called Angela. And it's really bred to jump this horse. It's got lines that include Clinton and Diamond de Semele. Claudia's got about 3 horses on the circuit jumping internationally at the moment. And this is one, actually, that used to be ridden by the USA's Molly Hay. Claudia took over the ride last spring. Has been doing a good job. She was here last week, actually, just had an unlucky rail in the Grand Prix. And we've seen her jump a lot of 145s with this horse. The competition today 150, so that's like an extra hole on the jump wings. But the horses don't know that. They've not got lasers on their head, so as long as you've got that quality canter, as long as you set it up, these horses will pop over this 150 track. She's got the experience. And you can see she likes riding forward with this one, and then she just takes the checks. She's got quite a good eye. You know, she landed, got her leg on, saw she was going to be a little bit too forward, so then just sat up and got things organized. Ah, but caught that one. But she's been building up a lot of really good experience. And I think, you know, this is a rider we'll probably see on the Nations Cup teams and stuff. Just drifted right a little bit through that line. So just one, 4 faults it is, 80.72. Fastest of the 4 faulters though. So that's going to put her in a good placing at the moment, pops her into 3rd. Came in there with just, you know, a couple of strides to straighten up and just comes down on the back rail, finishes on the 4. Gabby's watching in Lancashire. Marcy's watching in Scotland. A few people asking what height the fences are. They are 1.50 m, and you'd expect, you know, there to be maybe 1 or 2 that's 155 or 153. And also towards the beginning of the course, it'll be the other way. You know, there'll be a few that are 146, 147. And the width of the oxers will be a little bit wider than that 150. There's a lot of jumping out there. Francisco Pascual on track. Francisco Pascual Vega, this one, with dominant 2000Z. It's a 19-year-old athlete. A 13-year-old horse by Diamond de Semele out of a Cassini mare. This is a horse he took to the North American Youth Championships. He was 10th in the 2-star Grand Prix here last week, but not going to be his day. Just catches the first part of the triple combination coming in there. And sits on the 8 now. This is a horse that Paula Amalibia rode for a while, actually, for those that kind of follow sport here in Mexico or North America, or Europe, actually, because Paula jumps a lot over in Europe. You might have seen her jump this one. You can see him just, having a bit of a conversation with this horse as he goes round. And I think sometimes this horse just thinks he knows a little bit better and pulls him past the distances. You can see him, really having to use that upper body there, really having to just sit back and let the fence come to him. He had to work hard in there. Remember, that's quite a short 5 strides through there. Yeah, just 2 down, finishes on 8, 84.24, and 8 faults. Teresa Hall says, watching in Florida and hoping to make the Ocala show. That's probably live oak. It's their last chance to pick up some points for World Cup qualification. It happens in March. I will be there, and I hope you will manage to make it, Teresa. Laurie asking if there's any clear rounds. Yeah, we've got 2. We've got Alberto Sanchez Cozar and Patricio Pascual, so both for Mexico. Gemma Carnell's watching in Kent. Petronet, I hope I've got your name right, watching in South Africa, as is Gail Green. She's in South Africa as well. Let's get Manuel Senderos underway now. This is Cannabisar he brings with him. This is a rider we really only see here in Mexico. I don't want to jinx him. He's normally quite consistent. As soon as I say that, he has a rail. That's typical. But, if you look at his kind of scorecard, normally it's, clear or just the odd rail here and there. The horse doesn't really like to touch them. And I saw this horse jump nicely last week, actually. He was second in the Grand Prix here. And although these riders will be disappointed about having that rail, as long as they complete, then they will be qualifying for Saturday for the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup. And perhaps that's on the back of his mind. And if so, 4 faults still gives you a very good setup. Down towards the last, might just pick up a time fault as well. Yeah, going to pick up 3 of those. 88.12, 8 jumping, 3 time there for Manuel Senderos and Cannabisar. But if you do see him in the World Cup here on Saturday, then I still wouldn't rule him out, That horse has got a lot to like. And Christian Williams asks us if there's any English riders here. There are not. I think the closest she get is maybe Denmark, Nicola Heinrus, who's been based over here for a good number of years now. Del Haywood's just joined us, watching in Amarillo in Texas. Good to have you with us. Hermani's watching in Portugal. And here's Bernardo. Bernardo Navellian with Alquez Chile. This is a 9-year-old horse, but it's only done 3 international competitions in its career so far. And those 3 were all as an 8-year-old at 1.40 m level. So yeah, the horse is a year older. These fences are 10 centimeters bigger. And the technicalities is a touch more as well. But this really is the only place you can get this experience. You can do your training at home, you can build your grids, you can build your courses. To actually get out here with the atmosphere and the flowers and the decoration, the arena boards. It's the only place you can build up this ring time, the mileage that you need. And the horse is looking pretty unfazed. I know he had a bit of the triple combination down there, but other than that, good 4 fault round at the moment. It's going to put you in the kind of top 6. 26 left to come though in this one, so a long way to go. But he is going to finish on just the 4, 84.6 for 4 faults into 6th place for now there for Bernardo and El Chile.
Ya tenemos en la pista número 16, representa México.
Mag Abrams watching in Canada. Good to have you with us, Maggie. Again, if you have just joined us and you are watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, feel free to get in touch, to get involved. Let us know where you're watching from. Any questions about the competition, you can pop them in the comments box below as well. We'll be keeping an eye on those as things go forward. Grace Horsey's just joined us on Facebook Live watching from Ireland. Juan Carlos Martin del Campo next with La Costa. It's the first international outing for this horse this year. The 12-year-old. Got Korna Oblinski lines in there. Had a good 22 season. And I have to say, and again, I don't want to jinx this one, but he is mostly clear. You know, he's had the odd rail here and there. The horse normally quite unfazed. Got good rideability, good adjustability. Oh, little rump coming in. You can see he's got a bit of a red ribbon on his tail, so obviously doesn't like other horses coming too close to him in the warm-up. So if you're in the warm-up, you want to ride into the back. He's also got that strap as well, which goes underneath the horse's tail and attaches onto the back of the saddle, and that's normally something you see at Pony Club, and it stops the saddle slipping forward. He's put in a real good performance here so far. Is he going to be clear round number 3? 3 efforts left. The short 5-stride distance. Oh, gets in deep there, so we're going to have to just set up nicely for this. And 1 to come. Keep an eye on the time. He's going to get a time fault. 88.48. Clear for jumping, 3 for time. 3 time faults there for Juan Carlos Martin del Campo. But you can see how pleased he is with the horse as well. You know, nice big pats, nice setup for later in the week as well. That's why I'm not convinced about this new ratio of time faults. I liked it when it was 1 for 4. You know, to have that horse penalised almost as much as having a rail, finishing on 3 faults when it was, you know, 2 and a bit seconds over the time allowed, just seems quite harsh. But it is what it is. Can't change it. Just got to get on with it. Nicola Heinruss is next with Bordeaux. This is a man we've seen ride at European Championship level. He's jumped some big competitions with this one as well, actually. It's a nice 11-year-old gelding by Centadel, out of a Contafino mare. Had quite a good season last year, and then last week we saw him on this very stage and just jumped a nice couple of kind of sweetener classes. I think he jumped him in the 135 or something, you know, just kind of getting back in the groove for this year. Nicola Heinruss is a rider we've seen jump a lot here in Mexico, and then went off and worked at Spruce Meadows, did a good job with those horses, and I believe he's now back in Mexico. He's a nice guy, and the family's so supportive of him. And so far, just making it look quite smooth and just navigating around. You can see him just making those tiny little corrections around the corner, setting up. Oh. Again, making the corrections. Rub. I think it stayed though. Jumps the last. Ah, and just over. 86-1-2.
0 puntos, 1 por exceso de
Clear for
tiempo,
jumping,
totaliza un
one
punto,
time fault.
86-12.
And it's very easy to sit here and say, well, he won't be, you know, too disheartened with that. Horse jumped really nicely, but he came so close to jumping a clear there. This horse with all the ability. You can see him having to make quite a few corrections around the corner, and I think, you know, using the time to do that just adds up. But you can see him giving the horse a nice big pat as he heads out there. Lexi Luker's watching in sunny SoCal. We've got Jennifer as well watching in Connecticut. Grace says, how many horses left? We've got about 23 left to come. None from Ireland this year. She's asking that as well. Rita says hello from Sweden. Janice is watching in Ottawa. I think it's Ottawa. Something like that. Anyway. Jose Severa Garcia on track now with Maximus. Another one of the U25 riders here. 13-year-old horse. Another one by Sentinel, actually. 2 in a row. Last time out for this partnership was at San Miguel, where he won the 2-star Grand Prix. That was back in October last year. So first outing for 2023. Horse is 13 years of age. Had quite a good foundation, this horse. He started over in Europe. Jumped the FEI Young Horse division over there. Horse just a little bit excited, a little bit playful around the corner. That's where you've got to find the balance of correction and also ignoring it. You don't want to get into a fight. It looks like this horse is naturally just quite feisty. But feisty with the adjustability. You know, this young rider's doing a great job and is going to jump clear today. First time out for 2023 and jumps clear, and you can see that big smile on his face, little thumbs up as well. And he will come back for that jump off later on. A lot to like about that partnership. And good to see some young talent earning a place in that jump off against the clock. So 3 clears we have, all for Mexico at this stage. Heather Piat Fisher's watching, says, hi Adam, good to have you with us, Heather. Doc Gibson from County Durham, one of our national judges in Great Britain, who I saw just last weekend actually. Alejandro Mills is next, Bretzel de Marias, another representative of the home nation. This is a relatively new horse for Alejandro. And actually, it'll be the first time he's jumped at around a 150 competition. But the horse has jumped this level with his old rider. I think he did a 155 Grand Prix with his old rider, actually. But Alejandro gets on well with the horse. He was 5th in the Grand Prix here last week. Top 10 in one of the other competitions here last week as well. Good effort through the triple. I'm hoping this horse is quite deceptive because it looks like he's travelling a little bit too slow. But sometimes with these kind of bigger horses, they do kind of eat up the ground and it looks like they're going slow. But actually that stride length's enough to keep them within that time allowed. But it's not as important now because he's just had a rail. But, you know, 4 faults are still, you know, 6th place down to 12th on our leaderboard. Number 12 cash prizes in any FEI competition. And he is going to be fine on time. He stops pulling. Yeah, 85.16, no issues with the time, and it was quite deceptive because in places, I mean, he took quite an economic route, but in places it looked like they were going really slowly, but I think the horse has got big long legs and it just covers the ground. Anyway, he's going to finish in 10th place for now, 85.16 for Alejandro Mills into 10th. David Brown's watching from Scotland on Facebook Live and says he thinks Jose Savdera Garcia is going to be our winner when we get to that jump off. We will wait and see. Amelia's watching in Belgium. Good to have you with us. But let's get Sophia Michel back underway. Sophia Michel is riding at BP First Edition. It's a horse she took to the North American Youth Championships in 2021. Part of the team that just missed out on a medal there. But she's 18 years of age and she's been building some great experience. We've seen her jumping at places like Spruce Meadows. We've seen her on Junior Nations Cup duty at Thunderbird. It's a real delicate upright, that one that she's just had down. Just came a little bit flat off the corner. Just didn't get up in the air over that first part. Quite an experienced horse, this one actually. It's an 11-year-old. It's by Verdi, and it's an old ride of Alberto Sanchez Gozar. You can see Sophia's face is just so focused. And then the horse is just kind of pulling her past that distance a little bit, coming down to the plank. So you're really having to sit up around the corner and take a check. See what happens down this distance here. It does come back to her. It at least looks a little bit strong. 16 is going to be the total, 81.94 and 16 there for Sophia Michel in BP First Editions. She knows the horse really well. As I mentioned, you know, they have been building some great experience. I think perhaps in places you could just get her upper body back a little bit faster. But such a great young talent there. Luis Alejandro Plasencia coming forward next with the 9-year-old by Vidial Zarocco Blue out of a numero uno mare. This one's called Jump Star. Now, I first saw this horse with Great Britain's Matt Sampson a couple of years ago. Luis took over the ride last summer at Spruce Meadows, got on really well, and during his campaign there, had a win at 5-star level and just missed out on another, finishing second. So it was a real exciting addition to his string. Luis has had some great horses over the years, and a good number of horses as well, and that really helps with that experience. You know, you can make those comparisons when you start to sit on these newer ones. I remember the first time I saw him ride it at Spruce Meadows, and they just kind of clicked. A little rattle coming through there, but it's still in the cups. That's all that matters. Sticky off the ground. Luis has used his luck there. Jumps the last, and he's clear, 82.28. We're up to 4 clears that will make it through into that jump off against the clock. Horse has got a lot of jump, very scopy. Amelie actually says, watching on YouTube, that horse Jump Stars jumps to the stars. It does, it's got so much scope, it really gets up in the air. Well, it looks like we have reached the halfway stage here in the first round. We've got about 19 partnerships left to go, so don't you go anywhere. But if you want to grab a drink or something, now's a good time, because you can see the rails are coming out. They'll be bringing the tractors in just to do a little bit of work on the surface. Quick reminder of the clears that we've got at the moment, though. Alberto Sanchez Gozar, Patricio Pascal, Jose Saavedra Garcia and Luis Alejandro Plasencia. That's the clears we've got at the moment, all representing the home nation. So great afternoon for Mexico so far. And we'll see them back for the jump off against the clock. And of course, 19 still to come in the first round. And there's your result on screen as things stand. Again, if you are watching on Facebook or on YouTube, don't forget to hit that share button. Let all your friends know that they can join the action here in Puebla, Mexico. It's good to have you with us. And if you want to let me know where you're watching from, if you want to get involved with any conversations or, I don't know, ask a question, you can stick that in the comments box below. I'll be keeping an eye on Facebook and YouTube as things continue. Probably going to be about 5 minutes before we see that next partnership, just so they can bring the tractor in, do a little bit of work. So this new surface that they've put in is actually jumping really, really well. But the attention to detail here is just incredible, and I think they want to make sure, you know, that the surface is just as good for the second half as it was for the first half. So that's why they take these little breaks, you know, just to organise things down there, run the tractors round, and then we'll see the next combination coming forward. But plenty of talent still to see here in round one. A very exciting jump off to come. And then, of course, we've got the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup to look forward to here on Saturday. Don't forget, you can only watch that on FEI TV. Plus, of course, on television, there'll be highlights on CBS in North America. I know Eurosport have it over in Europe, and there's loads of other channels that carry it as well. So look out for your local listings on that. And I'll be back here as well on Facebook Live and on YouTube on Sunday. And if you want to find out where the live results are, or look at the timetable of competitions or any of that good stuff, start list, live results, course plans, they're all on there. Head to longinetiming.com. If it asks you if you want skiing or show jumping, I can tell you want show jumping. I think you'd have worked that out though. And then I think there's about 3 live events this weekend that they're doing, so you have to just find Puebla, click on that, and then you can go through and you can find everything that you'd want and probably more. So that's all available. Just head to longinetiming.com. Janice is asking what events are coming up. Well, when it comes to World Cup, we've got one qualifying event left. Of course, the World Cup here on Saturday. Then we take a short pause, and then we head to Live Oak in Ocala, Florida. And that, I'm just looking at my diary, is towards the end of March. It starts on the 16th. With the World Cup on the Sunday, I believe, at that one, so on the 19th, so that's in March. Then, of course, we take a short pause before we head to World Cup finals, which are in the USA this year. They're going to be in Omaha, Nebraska. I did them the last time they were there, and it's just such a great city to have them in, because the whole town comes out to watch it, and there's an electric atmosphere, no matter whether it's, you know, the opening competition or whether it's the actual final round. So I'm excited to be going back there for World Cup finals in April. If you haven't booked your tickets yet and you fancy coming to join us, make sure you do that. Omaha, Nebraska in April for the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup finals. You'll also see the finals for dressage and vaulting there at that same event. So plenty to enjoy at that one. Just having a quick scroll through YouTube here, and I can see Linda has joined us from Wisconsin in the USA. Oh, someone else actually. Harold's watching, also in Wisconsin. Maybe you know each other. JB is watching, says bonjour, which is all the French I know. I managed to translate that to hello. He's watching in France. Good to have you with us, JB. And it looks like Maggie's going to bed. I don't know where it is, what time it is where you are, Maggie. Equestrian Life's watching. I don't know if she's watching in Brazil or maybe just mentioning someone's from Brazil, because she's put Brazil on the Brazilian flag. But yeah, good to have you with us, no matter where you are in the world today. Marley's watching in Germany. If you have just joined us, my name's Adam Cromarty. Great to have you with me, keeping me company as we navigate our way through the final 19 here in the first round. Then that jump off to come as well. If you want to see any kind of behind the scenes photos or anything, I'll hopefully get around to posting some. You can follow me on Instagram. Just search for Adam Cromarty. Lexi's watching in Wellington, Florida. Reagan in Pennsylvania. Rain's watching in the Netherlands. Sri's watching in Colombo in Sri Lanka. I think you may be the furthest away. Dell's asking what the temperature is there. Well, funny you should say that, Dell, because I was expecting to get a bit of a tan when I was here. Brought some sunscreen and everything, and I've currently got a winter jacket on. It was allegedly going to be about 25, 26 Celsius, but I think it feels maybe about 14 if you're lucky. But hopefully it's going to get warmer as the days go on. Jennifer's watching in Ottawa in Canada. Good to have you with us, Jennifer. Marley's saying, do I ride as well? Not as much as I'd like to, Marley, because I'm always travelling these days. But yeah, I've ridden since I was 3 and then became a coach. And I'm an FEI judge as well. But I always find the easiest place to ride is the commentary box. Well, looks like the rails have gone back in out there, so final preparations underway. See, hospitality's looking fairly busy today. The food here is absolutely amazing. So normally that hospitality area and the catering areas are full from breakfast full right through to dinner time. Catty Cat says, hello there, I'm from Russia. Good to have you with us. Lexi says, will you come to Wellington? I think as close as I get to Wellington is Ocala, which I know is actually hours and hours away. Right, let's pick up the action again, shall we? Luis Gerardo Castandara gets us back underway. Untackable. It's a Zangerside horse by Untouchable out of a Pilot mare. Had some good wins and good placings during their time together. He's had the horse, I think, for about 2 years now. And I saw him jump this horse here last week. Just had a couple of rails here and there. Oh. And of course, the riders in this half have had a real good opportunity to watch how the course rides, because you always get that opportunity to walk the course as many times as you want within that time. But it's always nice to watch a few as well and just see if the lines ride as they walk. Remember, we've got 4 clears at the moment, all progressing through to that jump off against the clock. Nice job round here. Looked a bit feisty when he first came in, didn't he? But he's managed to kind of settle things down. Still just having to take those checks here and there. Ah, late rail on course. Oh, had to hustle to that last fence. Going to make the time though, so finishes on 4:85.53 the time into 12th place. Remember, in FEI competitions there's always 12 cash awards, so he goes into 12th at the moment. Not sure he'll stay there though. With another 17 to follow, I still think we'll be getting more clears as things progress forward here. Francisco Pascal comes next, 10-year-old gelding. Diamond de Semeli's the sire of this horse. It's out of a Kiram de Revel mare. It's called Olivio. Had this one for a couple of years now. And Fran's a real competitive rider. He's had so many nice horses over the years. Now, interestingly, we saw him jump this horse in the Grand Prix here last week. Jumped really nice in the first round, then retired before the jump-off. And I think that might have been just to set the horse up for this week. And if that was the plan, it was a great setup. On that oxer and has to really take a check into here. Good recovery there. But I would imagine this is one of the combinations we will see in the World Cup here on Saturday. You have been lucky through that double. Catches that vertical. Oh. He tips his hat, I think. He's going to retire. Save that one for another day. Francisco Pascual there with Alivio. You can see as he came down there, he just didn't quite have the distance he wanted, and rather than kind of push that horse through and just see what happens, he circled away. He's a horseman as well as an athlete, and I know he thinks a lot of this horse. Just not their day.
En la pista número 25, representando a México, tenemos a Carlos Rodolfo Molina, que monta Yavantus C.
Right, let's get down to the final 16 or 17 here. Carlos Rodolfo next to go. Avantis C. 21-year-old rider, 14-year-old horse. He's quite a talent, this young rider. He had some good medal finishes at youth championship level. And I really hope he can jump clear. He's been so unlucky recently. And he's put in good performances and had a bit of forefaultitis. Just those odd rails. So let's just hope this is going to break that pattern. She's just quite long. You can see that rail, that second part of the double, the issue actually came off the corner. There's no space in that one stride distance to do anything about it, so it's all about the canter off the corner. And I think he just came in there with a little bit too much. A few have done that, we've seen that rail come down. But it is going to be 4 jumping and 1 time fault. That seems to have been the pattern with him, recently, as I mentioned, putting in really solid rounds and then just having that one rail here and there. And I think it's all about the canter. You could see him working just to close it down a little bit, but it just came in a bit much. The horse is so eager and, almost so focused on the next fence. So we're going to stay on the 4 clears at the moment. Carlos Rodolfo heads out. I don't know, this is the same one again somehow. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can. This is Arturo Parado Vallejo. We'll wait and see. He's making a really good job through that triple combination, though. Takes a check off the corner. So far, so good. Just one left to come. Has to hustle over that final fence, but gets the job done. Really nice round, and yet we can confirm that one as Carlos Rodolfo with a van to see. So we're going to add him to our list for the jump off. He's in good company though. We'll see how things progress. Claudette Villa Escampos is next. Claudette, 22 years old. Had this 15-year-old mare for a couple of years, and actually this venue was their first outing together back in 2020. They were quite quiet as a partnership last season, so great to see them out nice and early this year. There is a lot of young talent here in Mexico. And some good horsepower coming through as well, actually. You know, I've seen their team performances grow and grow, and I think that's going to continue in that direction. Just a little bit caught up through there. And she's going to just have to settle the horse off that corner. See, after having the rail, the horse doesn't really like touching them, and he just came a little bit discombobulated as he landed, so Claudette had to work quite hard. She's just come a little bit flat since then. You could see Claudette, you know, feeling that Canterbury wasn't just quite all in the back end with the front end nice and light, so she took a check, she used her upper body, but again it just flattened a little bit coming to that vertical that came down. So he's going to finish on 12 jumping one time, 86.27. And that was like a course of two halves, you know, up until she hit the triple combination, part B. The horse was kind of quiet, rhythmical, canter was quite light and bouncy. And then we had that issue through there, we just dropped that back leg. And it seemed to just unsettle the horse a little bit. Some horses are like that. You can see the kind of power went up from there. Claudio Zapata next with Bold Prince. That's where we're heading to. Just having a quick look on Facebook Live. Don Hess has joined us watching in Michigan. Good to have you with us, Don. Thanks for tuning in. And Sandra says, just want to say this is so much harder than they make it look. Kudos to all. I think you're so right there. Sarada Strickman saying that on YouTube Live. But yeah, all fantastic combinations. All work so hard to earn their time here in the ring. And again, if you have just joined us on Facebook, don't forget to hit that share button. Let me know where you're watching from. Any questions, stick it in the comments box below. You can do the same on YouTube Live as well. But let's now focus on Claudio. 14-year-old gelding, this one. It's by Cornet Prince. He's had an early rail, so then if you've got that horse, if you think you can give us a fast 4-fault round, And that's still good enough to get into 8th place at this stage. And of course, a long way to go. 13 left here in the first round. There's certainly nothing drastic. Doing so much right out there. Right, just keep this 4-fault score. Now, to get in, he's got to be faster than 85.16 to get on the leaderboard with 4 faults. I think he might just be a bit steadier than that. Could pick up a time fault, actually. Yeah, 1 time fault. Oh, and the last comes down as well. So 8 jumping, 4 for time, 89.52. It's 12 in total there. Finishes on 12 here in the first round. And that means we stay on 5 clears at the moment.
El número 29 representa a los Estados Unidos de América, Misty Casar, que monta My Lord Hornet.
Right, here comes Misty Casar for the United States of America. Having a bit of a conversation, it looks like, with My Lord Cornet. This is an experienced partnership. It's one she took to the World Cup finals in Leipzig. We saw her jump the World Cup with this horse in Las Vegas, and in Fort Worth, Texas, and in Sacramento. I think it's fair to say that she wants to go to the World Cup finals in Omaha, Nebraska in April. You can see this horse is wearing a liquid titanium mask. These have become quite popular, and the theory behind them is they just kind of help take the edge off. They just help the horses settle a little bit. So he's got some blinkers on as well, again for that same reason. But Misty, we mainly see on the west coast of the USA, places like Desert Horse Park. Just a little bit of a conversation around that corner. Comes in with quite a lot of power. Is it going to catch up? No, it's not though. It's got to get out over this one. Then you can use this next corner to rebalance. And Misty's, so used to this horse's way of going. Yes, it looks feisty. Yes, it looks forward. It looks like they're having to, have those conversations all the way around. But Misty just knows this horse inside out. You can just ignore it and let the horse do its job. And a nice clear there, 84.60, straight through to that jump off. She really loves that horse, and they will return. Nice job there from Misty Casar of the United States of America. Brings us up to 6 now, 6 clears at this stage. Jan Bullock's tuned in from Lancashire in England. Good to have you with us, Jan. Right, 11 left to go here in the first round. 6 clears at the moment in Puebla, Mexico. And a lot of talent still to feature. Ignacio Morin for Argentina now with the 10-year-old by Firth of Lauren called Franco. Argentina, another of the nations, have got a couple of good riders here with us this week. And this rider's got some nice horses out at the moment. Now, Franco's certainly one of them. We saw him in La Cia in the 5-star competitions towards the end of last year. Jumping in the 155 competitions and picking up some minor prizes. Jumped well in San Miguel as well, and then Arquerella B, another of his horses that we've seen on similar duties. You can see him really using that head and his upper body around the corner. And that's a great tip for those who know watching our riders. That just catches that back bar off the oxer. Again, 4 fault rounds still in with a chance of picking up a lower prize here today. And 9, 10, 11 and 12 all sitting on 4 faults at the moment, but you've got to have a quick time. Has he done that? 84.24. Yeah, he scrapes in at 12th place. I think he probably will be pushed off the leaderboard though as we get down towards the final 10 here in the first round. Rebecca Christine's just joined us watching in the USA. Good to have you with us, Rebecca. Still think we might see 1 or 2 more clears as things progress. Luciana Gonzalez on track now. Ehrens is the name of the horse that she brings forward. It's a 14-year-old by Cardento. Little rattle through there, but the fence stays up. This is another of the young athletes in the competition, and a horse actually she took to the youth championships a couple of years ago. On the team that just missed out on a medal there. Just had 1 or 2 rails down last week in the Grand Prix with this horse here. But we've seen her jump some, 4-star Grand Prix with this in the past and had really nice results. As I mentioned earlier, so much nice young talent here in Mexico who've certainly got the horsepower to go far. It's a real delicate fence. It's quite narrow and so light, and in those delicate yellow cups as well. That was a shame. Penultimate fence comes down, so finishes on the 4. 81.78 and 4 there for Luciana. And Ehrens goes into that 12th place position. Again, 9 left to come. She just drifted a little right through that distance. But real delicate material in there. Now, Trina's watching in Jamaica and says, tough course, great competition. It's been an interesting one, Trina, because, those horses who are used to jumping out at places like Spruce Meadows and Thunderbird and, goes on that little tour and have got real experience or jumps over in Europe, they've kind of floated round. But we've had a lot of horses in this that are just kind of stepping up to this level, and some good young riders as well. Juan Jose Zendejas and Camila next. His second ride in the competition, this one an 11-year-old mare by Cartoon 21. Juan Jose representing the home nation of Mexico, like he has at so many big competitions. Early one for him. What's he going to do now? Will he try and be the fastest four and pick up some money? He took over the rider just at the end of last year, so it's really a new one on his string. Still very much in the getting to know you phase. Nicholas Toro of Colombia used to jump this one over in Europe. We saw him at Oplebeek and Cronenberg and Villamora, places like that. It looks like Juan Jose is going to retire today. He's got a real nice string. I know he thinks a lot of that horse. And that'll be a really good fact-finding mission. He now knows what he's off to work on. This is Rodrigo Lambry back with a 10-year-old gelding by Messenger out of a Kidam Revel mare. Mesquidam GPS. Our Mescorampecia. But again, Rodrigo, you know, one of the most experienced athletes in the competition today. He's been all over the world. He's done so much, including picking up a gold medal at the Pan American Games back in 2019. He was 7th in the Grand Prix with this horse here last week. This is a horse he's had for a good couple of years now. It's always great to watch Rodrigo, you know, especially with these kind of variety of horses he's got, and just seeing how he rides these different ones. But is he about to earn himself a place in the jump off? 2 fences left. Ah, penultimate one comes down again. And I walked that a little bit short when I walked the course earlier. That was a shame. 82.03 and picks up 4 faults, and just outside the prize money as well. Not one of our 4 faster 4-fault rounds that have made it onto the leaderboard. A lot to like about that horse. It's got all the ingredients you would want. So we'll keep an eye on that horse as things continue this weekend and beyond. Juan Carlos Rodriguez has just joined us watching in Colombia. Good to have you with us, Juan Carlos. If anyone else has just joined, you're not too late. Let me know where you're watching from. If you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, just pop it in the comments box below. Any questions, any comments, good luck messages for any of these riders, you can do it all using that comments box. And while you do that, we'll go on to the next one. Manuel Gonzalez de Frey comes next. Martellias, the 11-year-old gelding, by Nabab de Rev, out of a Lord Z mare, this one. I think it's his second ride here. He's got a good exciting string of horses at the moment. About 3 or 4 jumping internationally. He's had this one for a couple of years now. I know I mentioned this for one of the other riders earlier, but he's had a bit of 4-faultitis with this one. You know, putting in real solid rounds and just having 4 faults. And I think every rider can relate to that. You kind of go through these spells where it doesn't matter what you do and how hard you work, you just have an unlucky reel here and there. Maybe this is going to be his day with this one. Come on, 2 left. Going to be okay for time. Just going to jump this. Yes, nicely done. He's through. 83.23. Congratulations there to Manuel Gonzalez de Frey. He will feature in that jump off against the clock. Brings us up to 7 clears now. 7 clears here in round 1. 6 left to come. Will we see one more? Trigger's asking on YouTube Live, are these jumps 1.30 m? They're not, they're 1.50 m. Nan says, go Mexico, yay. I think probably talking about that last clear. Well, we've got 7 clears, 6 of them belong to Mexico, 1 of them belongs to the USA, so Mexico's in with a great chance in that jump off. Fabian Cianis next to go with Tempo. representing Argentina, and riding this 12-year-old. I think it's going to be an exciting jump-off when we get there. Some quick horses already qualified. Fabian's been a part of the sport for many years. He went to the Tokyo Games with a horse called Emir. Went to the Worlds with Harley van de Bishop last year. This is Temple's first outing for 2023, completed last season in Monterrey in Lucia. Some good results in San Miguel as well. Had this ride for about 2 and a bit years now. It's usually every single stride out there, but has that come down? It has. It's a bit of a late faller. It just catches that rail, and also picks up a couple of time faults as well. 87.48. Total is 6 faults there for Fabian Seanes and Temple. It looked like he was moving forward. There was a lot of kind of adjusting having to be done though, wasn't there? You know, he really had to use those corners to rebalance. Maybe that's just where he lost a bit of time. Standing by and about to get underway is Alberto Sanchez Cozar from Mexico, Abril Hishazad. 11-year-old mare by Chaco Blue. Getting down to that final few now here in the first round of this jump-off competition. You know that jump-off to come a little bit later on. And it's a good course as well, actually, for the jump-off. I had a look earlier. You know, there's twists and turns and also areas where you can really kind of push on and try and save some time. This is a nice 11-year-old mare. Had some real good results here last week. Very consistent, actually. You know, picked up 4th, picked up 9th, and then last time out last year was kind of doing the same. You know, he was 5th and 10th. So always kind of there or thereabouts. It's well put together. Kind of goes with quite a long neck. You can see as Alberto takes the check, he almost gets into that conversation and evades the contact, but it doesn't, you know, prevent this horse from doing a real nice job. And you know, sometimes you can't correct that. They can't go around, you know, looking like a picture out of a book. They've all got their own individual way of going, and you know, you've got to decide what you can accept, what you can't accept, and what the horse can accept and not accept. You know, it is a partnership at the end of the day. One fence to come. Okay for time. Jumps the last. Jumps clear. 82.40. Alberto Sanchez Cozar earns a place in that jump off with Albrahel Shazad. Brings us up to 8 clears now. 4 left to come here in the first round.
En la pista número 37, representando a México, Miguel Marón, que monta Northern.
Miguel Marón is next with Northern Diamond. Northern Diamond's a 13-year-old by Diamond de Revel. One of the probably most popular jumping stallions there are. Partnership that's been together a while. It's one that Olivier Philippart's rode for quite a short time. Antonia Andersson of Sweden jumped this horse in the young horse competitions over in Europe, and then Miguel took over the ride about 4.5, 5 years ago now. And when he took it over, it was, you know, jumping 135s, possibly 140. And then Miguel's put in all the work and, you know, bringing him up towards the top of the sport. We've seen him jump some big 155, 160 Grand Prix with this horse. He jumped the World Cup here last year for 12 faults. Oh, just dropped a leg in there. Might be about to pull up. But, you know, a lot to like with that horse, and it's one we'll keep an eye on in the future. But they've only got so many jumps in them, and Miguel obviously doesn't have the feeling that he wanted in there today, and he's already completed with one as well, so decides to retire. But you can see in the ring, you know, these riders are very competitive, but already as he was heading out there, you know, his kind of teammates, his friends are already there to have that discussion about what he felt, what went on, what went wrong, what he would do differently if he could go back in, what he's going to be doing until the next time he's in the ring. Right, we really are getting down towards the business end here, with just 3 or 4 left to come. This is Romeo next. Federico Fernandez, rider we saw earlier. And now returns with this horse by Lando out of a Cheers Cassini mare. This is Romeo. See how he gets on with this one. As I mentioned when he was in last time, you know, Federico does split his time between Europe and here. But he's done it all from the Worlds to Olympic Championships. And he campaigned this horse here last week, just had 1 or 2 down in each of the competitions he jumped it in. But it's an experienced horse, this one. You know, we saw him part of the Nations Cup team that went to Spruce Meadows last September. Took this horse to the World Championships last year. So it's certainly got the experience. It's a 12-year-old now, but it's just been building and building and building. Federico, a real nice horseman. Him and his wife Paola Amalibia, you know, building a good string of horses. It looks really fluid so far. I'm not having to kind of pull and push too much. Almost looks like they're just sort of floating around here. Time allowed going to be fine. He's just got to jump this last fence and he's through. Yeah, nice job there. 85.55, probably closer than he'd like to be to the time, but you know, he's on the right side, that's all that matters, and he will go through to that jump off. And remember, under these rules, they do come back in the same order as they jump clear in the first round, so they retain that drawn order, and that means he's going to have a great draw for the jump off. You know, he's going to be coming back either last or certainly towards the end, depending on what these final couple do. Here is Nico back, Nicolas Pizarro, 11-year-old mare, Atlantica du Soleil Z, represents the home nation. He came very close to having a win here last week, jumped double clear and finished second in one of the 145 competitions. And again, this has been a real consistent one for him. You know, we saw him in San Miguel for the major league tournaments towards the end of last year, and I think he was second, fourth, and fifth. You know, he was always kind of just there, just knocking on the door. Real clean from end. Just catches it behind though. Again, if he takes this one into the World Cup, you certainly couldn't rule this horse out. It's got plenty of power, it's got scope. It's short coupled, it's like a real modern design of a jumping horse. Down towards this final fence, and we'll just finish on the 4, 84.04 and 4 faults there for Nico and Atlantica du Soleil Z. A lot to like. They may go into 17th, but it was a real good performance. See him coming through this triple combination, goes in clean, but then just rattles it with the back feet, and down it comes. Well, just a couple left to go in this first round of competition. Then we go to that jump off against the clock. Already some very quick ones in there. Here's Patricio Pascual coming back. He's already through actually with one. So now looks to qualify Sarangat. He ended last year up at the Desert Horse Park at Thermal in California. Picked up some top 10 finishes in similar competitions there. And this is a horse we've seen in the, you know, the big 5-star ranking competitions. You know, again towards the end of last year, I think it was about middle of November last year actually. He was in Lucia and Monterey with this horse. Just had a couple down in the meter 55 Grand Prix there. A similar story throughout September at Spruce Meadows. Jumped the horse in Europe. Or the horse actually jumped in Europe a lot last year, and then Patricio came over to try him during the summertime. Actually bought the horse and then brought him back over via Spruce Meadows. So quite a new one, you know, in relative terms. Took over the ride last summer. So he could end up taking 2 horses through to the jump off, depending on what this one does. That would be a great afternoon in the office for him. If that happens, he may save Babel for Saturday for the World Cup and not jump him off. We'll wait and see. As I mentioned earlier, you know, he's a great horseman, so he'll have his plan already in his head of what he's going to be doing. Looks like he's going to have to be making that decision because he jumps clear again. What a great day he's having, 83.37. Patricio Pascual and Sarangat clear in the first round here. So that brings us up to nice round 10 clears that are going to be jumping off.
Este desempate que consta de 7 obstáculos, 8 saltos.
According to our start list, there should still be one to come. We'll find out if she is going to come forward or if we're going to be changing the course. And it looks like that was in fact our last to go here in the first round. So it will be 10 that head through to that jump off against the clock. Have a look at this list on your screen and of course the second page as well. And then we will decide who we think is going to be taking the win. Well, you will. And if you want to tell me, of course, you can do that in the comments box box on Facebook or on YouTube. Who are you going to be shouting for? Who's your favourite horse out of that bunch? Who do you think's the fastest? Do let me know. But the ground crew here are going to be getting us ready for that jump off against the clock. For those that are a little bit new to the sport, the jump off is a shorter course. It allows for, you know, more kind of twists, more turns, and normally areas where they can really take that handbrake off, get their leg on, and try and save up some time as well. Marina Azevedo, our course designer, you can just see her walking towards the end of your frame, the sort of middle of your frame there, middle of your TV screen. That's Marina. She's the only female level 4 course designer in the world. So level 4 would be Olympic level. It's the highest level you can get. And she was building here last year when this arena was grass, and she's come back and now it's sand, and it's jumping really well out there actually. But it'll take maybe, I don't know, about 5 minutes to get this course ready. Then we've got an exciting jump off on our hands. And don't forget, you can also enjoy more action as things continue here this weekend. If you want to join us for the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup, it will be available on FEI TV live for you on Saturday. It's also available on television as well, so have a look at your local listings. In North America, the highlights will be on CBS Sports towards the beginning of next week, so keep an eye out for that. And then I'll be back on Sunday with you on Facebook Live and YouTube as well. And you can get involved with the conversation once again on Sunday. If you want to have a look at the times, obviously it depends where you're watching. So head along to longinetiming.com, find the Puebla event, it will show you the timetable. You can also find all the course plans on there, live scoring, start lists, the final results after the competitions, and obviously that timetable as well of when the competitions are taking place. So lots of fun stuff available on longinetiming.com. Nansing, how do you become a jump course designer? It's quite a long process actually. So you start off by going to your national federation. So, you know, if you're in the USA, for example, it would be USCF, and then you would go and shadow their course designers and work through their national pathway to become a national course designer. Then you have to go, you know, to the very top of being the national course designer levels, and then you can apply to become an FEI course designer. But they're all assessed at every single level. So it's quite a long process. The same for judging as well. I'm an FEI judge, and to do that you have to go through your full national program. You have to become a top-level national judge first. Then you have to go away, and it's normally miles away from where you live, to go and do a course and an exam to become an FEI judge. There's quite a lot in it. And I think, you know, the amount of prize money that's up for grabs in these competitions, the amount of money that these horses are worth, that, you know, that's why this sort of training process is so difficult. You know, there's so much on the table. The stakes are so high. If anyone else has got any other questions, feel free to pop them in the comments box below. If you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook Live, if you just want to say hello, you can do that as well. Because we're just killing a bit of time as we get ready for this jump off against the clock. But it's going to be worth waiting for, because it is going to be exciting. Not too much work left to do out there. You can see the tractors just coming in again. We've got an amazing ring crew here actually. You know, they work from, you know, before it's even light till after it's dark. And Marina couldn't put together courses like this without the help that she's got here as well. She's also got Mauricio Garcia, who's another level 3 FEI course designer, assisting, as well as Benjamin Fernandez, another FEI level 3. He's from Mexico, and he's also assisting out there as well. So it really is a team effort. You know, it's a big old arena for one person to, you know, be in charge of. Trigger says, I thought it ended. Trigger watching on YouTube. It's not ended yet, Trigger. We're getting ready for the most exciting bit. Don't go anywhere. Sanglin says, hello from Ireland. Good to have you with us. If you've just joined, I don't know if you have, but if you have, you've joined a good bit. Getting ready for that jump off. And once that jump off starts, it won't take long because these guys will be speeding around there. It's definitely one of my favorite places to come, Mexico. Such a stunning backdrop. People are so friendly, the food's so good. Trigger's got the most important question of the whole afternoon though. Do I like pineapple on pizza? No, I don't. I don't think fruit on pizza is a good thing. See, I'll literally answer any questions. Kelly Barron says hello from Florida. Really is horse country, Florida. Although it's split into two now, isn't it? Because you've got that whole Ocala circuit as well as the Wellington. So much horse sport down in Florida at the moment. Grace Horsey says, I like jumping, but I don't think I could jump what these riders do. Yeah, and they kind of make it look easy, don't they, Grace? That's the annoying bit. I don't know what level that you jump at the moment, Grace, but, you know, it's all about just gaining your confidence. And if you've got the horsepower, then really it's all about the canter. It's all about the flat work and the setup for the fences. If the horse can jump it and you've got the ability and the confidence, then the flat work becomes the important part. You know, balancing that canter, setting up the lines, knowing how many strides are between the fences. So although some people may say flat work's boring, it's actually the most important part. And you'll find that all these top riders spend a lot of their working week, you know, on the flat, whether it's actually in the arena or whether it's taking them out hacking or on a trail ride. Even when they're out there, they're still working on the flat work. You know, if you go for a nice canter on a beach, you can still shorten, you can still lengthen. So it's all about sorting out that canter, making sure it's nice and light in the front end, all the energy's coming from behind. It's all these key ingredients that make this look easy. So we can see our start list then, it's on the screen, and this is the order they are going to be coming forward to jump in this jump off. They retain that order from the first round. And sometimes it's good to be coming last. Other times it's good to go first because then you don't kind of do more than you think your horse can do. You're not tempted to take that extra risk. So I think it depends on the mindset of the rider and the horse they've got as well, of course. David Cliche says, when are you coming up to Scotland? I haven't seen you in ages. Well, I was actually up for a social visit to Scotland a couple of weeks ago. Went to Edinburgh and then went up to Glencoe. But it was a flying visit for about 3 days. And I think I'm coming back up in August. Kelly Barron says, I want to be in the Grand Prix one day. Just keep working, Kelly. It's all you can do. Well, it looks like the stage is pretty much set. Some spectacular fences here. Tractor's just making that final pass, and then we'll see that first combination come forward. I mean, I could tell you the jump off course, and if you've got a really good memory and you've been noticing fence numbers, it might mean something to you. We're starting over fence number 7, so that's the oxer that goes across the middle. Down to the vertical at 8. And, you know, that's kind of related off that bending line. I think we'll see them move up a little bit in this round. As they land over there, it's round to the double, 9AB. That was the double that, you know, cost a few rails. The second part came down quite a lot. It's off the corner, so it's oxer in, 1 stride, upright out. Then it's right-handed round to 12. So that was the second last fence, the kind of skinny, delicate one from the first round. Then over the last fence, fence 13. And then over the first 2 fences to finish. Fence 1, the vertical, fence 2, the oxer. Lexi Lucas says she's rooting for Misty with Tom and a churro with Pandora. Yeah, Misty Cassar knows that horse really well. And although to look at, it looks a little bit playful. She just kind of ignores that. Lets it get in the groove, do its thing. and more often than not it works out for them. Rook says, anyone know if there's a map of the course? I didn't mention this earlier, Rook, you've not been listening. If you head along to longines-timing.com, not only can you find the course plan, you can see live scoring, start list results, timetables. You will be spoiled if you head over there. It's everything you've always wanted. So that's longines-timing.com, you'll find all that good stuff there. Nan says, red and white flags mean left or right. You want red on the right, white on the left. If it's the other way around, you're jumping it backwards. You don't want to do that. Right, here we go. Jump off time. Stage is set. Good course, plenty of twists, plenty of turns. Areas they can really move up there as well. And this is going to be our pathfinder. Let's find out how things are going to progress here. Alberto Sanchez Cozar and Cat over to get us underway. A real experienced partnership, actually. The horse has done a lot, he's done a lot. Let's take another quick look at this course. It'll make more sense now we see something jump it. So we start over the Oxer in the middle, fence number 7. Then it's left-handed down towards the vertical at 8, just keeping that nice forward rhythm. The double comes next. Oxer in, vertical out. It's going to be risk and reward here because we saw this vertical cause some issues in the first round. As soon as you land there, you're thinking about that turn round towards fence 12, which has now got longer rails, so it's not quite as delicate as it was in the first round. Then we jump fence 13, last fence from the first round. Then there's 2 left. It's fence 1 and fence 2. So this vertical, and then you want to open up. You want to let the handbrake off if you dare. Because that's what can happen. Caught that front rail on the Oxer, so going to finish on 4 faults, 40.56. But Alberto knew how many quick ones were coming behind him. He really had to try and add as much pressure on as he could, so he let the handbrake off, then tried to rebalance at the last second and just caught the rail on the front of the Oxer there. So finishes on the 4, 40.56. If you're coming towards the latter half of the jump off, you've probably, I don't know, had a sneaky look over the hedge there, just to see how those turns were riding. If not, you'll have had someone spying, you know, for any kind of last minute tips as you head in. Patricio Pascal, as we know, has got 2 horses coming forward, and Patricio was last to go in the first round on the other horse, so he's had to swap over back onto his first ride because they must stay in that order. Under FEI rules, you wouldn't be allowed to swap the horses over just because it's convenient logistically because you're already on that one. That wouldn't work. So he's got to swap back onto that first one, get warmed up, get organised, and then he'll be through. Sarah's watching on YouTube and says, how many horses are in the jump off? 10 in total, 9 left to go. She's just got home from riding, so she hasn't seen the first part. We miss you, Sarah. We're glad you're here now, though. 9 left to come here in this jump off against the clock. Melissa says, excited to watch Garcia and Maximus. Corey Robinson says, how much are the horses typically worth? That's a difficult question. Probably the same as a house, or more, depending on where you live. Because we have to remember, these are the kind of top horses. I know that was a very political answer, and not really an answer at all. But you'd be thinking, you know, hundreds of thousands, and as they kind of get up, you know, there's horses out there that are worth millions. But Patricio won't be too long. Just swaps on that horse, gets warmed up, and the ground jury wouldn't normally, or the judges wouldn't normally rush him. They appreciate that he's had to jump last to go in the first round with his other horse, swap back on and do that warm up. So it wouldn't be fair to kind of hurry him. But here we go. He's got 2 horses. And this one he's literally taken everywhere and done everything with. Babel and Patricio Pascual for Mexico. I don't want to jinx them by saying, you know, probably the most experienced partnership in the competition, certainly one of them. So I won't say that, but he is. And he'll also have a decision as well, you know, is he going for it? Is he thinking about the prize money today, or is he thinking about setting up? But he's very competitive, and he knows he's got the horsepower underneath him. Looks like he wants to add on as much pressure as he can, really opens up in that first distance. And you can see him looking for this turn, not overcooking it, because we know how many problems that double cost in the first round. Quite tight through there. 3 efforts left. Oh, has to fight. Comes inside, round towards the vertical, and then he has to just go for it. If he wants a good slice of the action, this is where you'll make up the time. Jumps the last. Oh, but it comes down. Back bar this time. 36.12. You can see how quick that was. You know, Alberto Sanchez Quasar finished in 40.56. Patricio is in 36.12. But he knew if he wanted to add pressure on for the rest, he needed to take the handbrake off the last. And it catches it at the angle there and just comes down on that back bar. Wow, it's been interesting so far. Jose Severa Garcia next with Maximus. Let's see what he's going to do. Another of the young riders, the U25s. Just flattened a little bit. This is their first time out in 2023. So still getting their groove on. Just has that early rail. You know, 4 faults in a fast time. Can still be good enough to get some top prize money in this one. He's certainly there or thereabout. Let's have a look. 36.85 goes second. Into second there. But good young talent. Good to see them back out together on the international circuit. And just flattens over that vertical. So finishes on the 4. Lucky there though, wasn't he? A bit of a rub. That was still the delicate, smaller rails from the first round. That would be on the floor. But sometimes you need a bit of luck. So he heads into second at the moment. Patricio Pascual and Babel lead the way in 36.12. Luis Alejandro Plasencia comes next with that beautiful red. Another experienced horse, experienced rider. You can see he's wearing that kind of black tape on the horse's nose, and the theory behind that is it just helps keep the airways open. It allows them to take in more oxygen. And a fun fact for you, that the horse's breathing goes in rhythm to their stride, you know, when they're cantering across the ground. Fun fact. This is a real nice horse, real useful jumping type. And just so smooth, you know, when you look at that turn. Catches that rail. I think Luis will be kicking himself a little bit with that vertical. 36.66 the time. 2 rails down though, it's going to be 8 faults for Luis Alejandro Plasencia and beautiful red. And just kind of twisting through the air and caught that rail. I think it was kind of the same here, you know, just came across at the angle and red just didn't quite get his feet up there. Looks like Misty Cassar moving up the order for us.
Bien,
Oh no,
tenemos en la
she's just
pista
out
de
there.
México, Arturo Parada Vallejo, que monta
She's just hanging out.
Misty
While
Cassar,
Arturo
sus
Parada Vallejo gets
observaciones,
underway
por
with
favor.
Pandora. At least you know who's coming next. Misty's just living her best life out there, watching this one. But Arturo's had some great wins over the years with this horse. Horse that Bart Bless started off over in Europe. Placed well at Desert Horse Park towards the end of last year. We saw him down at Texas for the World Cup event, really having to hustle round that corner. Right, you just need to keep it light through here. Oh, good job. Right, 2 left. Comes down towards the last. There's our first double clear, 34.85. Sets a standard, Arturo Parada Vallejo, 34.85 and clear. Now you can throw the textbooks away, it was a little bit unconventional, but they got the job done, and that's all that matters in this sport. 34.85 is going to be the time to chase, and interestingly, not only our first clear, but also the fastest round we've had. With the rest are all in the 36s. One's on 40. Arturo's on 34. Now, Misty Cassar is next for the United States of America. I would reckon she's not just here for the sunshine, and she'll be looking for some World Cup points come Saturday. But let's see what she's going to do here in this jump-off. Again, real useful horse that she knows inside out and upside down. Look at that big forward stride. If she can leave the fences up, I think she's well in contention. Doing a very good job. On to come, 34.85, so she's not going to be quite quick enough. But 39.10 is still a clear round there for Misty Cassar. She'll be very happy with that. Nice double clear. Will pick up a good slice of the action here. And not the most straightforward of rides either, and I think she just loses a little bit of time in those turns. You know, she kind of lands and then has to turn rather than trying to set up the turn through the air, but she knows that horse, she knows what she can do. And heads into second there. So Arturo Parada Vallejo leads, Misty Cassar second. Best of the rest on 4 faults is Patricio Pascual and Babel sitting in third place. And this is Manuel Gonzalez de Frey next. Artelius represents Mexico. So that news of Arturo's time will have fed backstage. They know they really have to go for it if they want to take on his challenge. 34.85 is going to take some beating. And there's just 4 left to come after Manuel. Having to just balance, take a check. 34.85 to beat. It's not going to be that quick. This will still go into a good position. Jumps the clear. 37.23 into second. Manuel Gonzalez de Frey for Mexico, second place. Pushes Misty Cassar to third. Arturo Parada Vallejo still leads the way at the moment. So 34.85. That's going to be the challenge. Has Parado done enough? What do you think? It's going to take some beating, isn't it? No one's got anywhere close. Even when they're kind of pushing and have a rail, they still haven't come close. Well, hopefully you can see and hear us again. A little power issue on site, but we are now back with you and live here from Puebla. So apologies for that little outage due to power here on site, but we're back, and Federico Fernandez just headed into third place there. A normal service will resume here in just a couple of seconds' time. So apologies again if you are disrupted by the power outage on site. Quick recap of our leaderboard though. Federico Fernandez has just headed into third place, which puts Misty Kazar fourth, Manuel Gonzalez Dufresne in second at the moment, and Arturo Parada Vallejo is leading the way. So that's how things look at the moment. Patricio Pascual and Seringat are going to be next. And of course, he's got that time to beat a 34.85. Real tough challenge. But we know how competitive Patricio is. You'll certainly want a good slice of the action here today. Oh, but he catches that rail. And he knows he's out of contention. I think he may be about to call it a day and retire there. Yeah, that is confirmed. So Patricio has decided to retire with Seringat. So no change to that leaderboard. And I think we have our full result as well, actually, and we do. Arturo Parada Vallejo will take that win. 34.85 the winning time. Manuel Gonzalez Dufresne takes second, and Federico Fernandez finishing in third place. But what a round there from Arturo. He really added the pressure on. He pulled it out the bag today, so many congratulations to him. Apologies again with that little power outage. I know you missed, part of the jump off, which is the most exciting bit. But we are live. We are on site, and sadly these things do happen sometimes, but apologies there if you did lose me and the jumping for just a couple of minutes. But that result is confirmed, and congratulations there to Arturo Parada Vallejo, who takes that victory. Full result on the screen there for you to enjoy as well. And then, of course, we'll get set up for that prize-giving ceremony. A quick reminder, you can enjoy on Saturday the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Puebla. Second last chance to pick up some points to try and earn a place to go to World Cup finals in Omaha, Nebraska in April. Can't wait to be there for that. And then, of course, in Ocala, that's the last chance for them to pick up some points. But we'll be back here on Sunday with the Classic. So you can join us on Facebook Live and on YouTube on Sunday. FEI TV, and then television highlights for the World Cup around the world. And I hope you will come back and join us for all of that and more. But a huge thank you to everyone who has got involved with the conversation on Facebook and on YouTube. Great to have your company. And I'll look forward to chatting with you again on Sunday. So enjoy the rest of your day, your evening, your night, your morning, wherever you're watching. I've been Adam Cromarty. Stand by for the prize giving. It's on the way. But from all the team here in Puebla, enjoy the rest of your day.
Las patas de un kilo igual a esa. hacia acá adelante. Ya yo te voy a... Ahí está perfecto.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. You've been searching in the dark, guess what's open through the floor? And buried in your bones, there's an ache that you can't ignore. Taking your breath, stealing your mind, and all that was real is left behind. Don't fight it, it's coming for you, running at you. It's only this moment, don't care what can gather. Yeah, feel a dream, can't you see it getting closer? Just surrender, cause you feel the feeling taking over. It's fire, it's freedom, it's flying open. It's a picture in the pulpit and your blood devotion. There's something breaking at the brick of every wall, it's holding all that you know. So tell me, do you wanna go? Where it's carrying on colored lights. Impossible come true, it's taking over you.
Y tenemos con nosotros al ganador de esta 150 Open Class de México, Arturo Parada Vallejo, montando a Pandora. Le voy a pedir al público se ponga de pie para entonar el himno nacional de México en honor al ganador.
Al
Rafael David de la entrega al ganador.
Bien, Artur.
Presente, entrega un premio especial a Arturo Parada.
Más visita.
Licenciado Rafael David entrega el premio al segundo lugar Manuel González Susán, dama a Martins. Al tercer lugar,
Gracias.
entrega la comida
Gracias.
al gerente Federico Fernández.
Se lo podrán guardar en la tienda. Déjame la mano, te voy a Perdón. Bien, mi Fede. Muchas gracias, Rafita. Muchas gracias, qué buena. ¿Te lo puedo dejar? Sí, claro. Muchas gracias. ¿Qué tal que luego se muere el autor y luego va una fortuna? Exacto. Lo mejor que las de...
Felicidades.
Ay, muchísimas gracias, qué linda. ¿Lo guardas? Sí, por favor. Muchas gracias. Gracias.
Cuarto lugar de los Estados Unidos de América, Pista, Moto Amayor.
You made it.
Thank you.
Great.
Hi. Thank you. Tom, you want some carrots, Tom?
Quinto lugar para México, Patricio Pasquel, junto a Barremo.
Para acá, chicos. Acá. ¿En tu lugar?
Me ganaba en tiempos todavía. Pero sí, estaba ahí pegado.
Sexto lugar para México, José Saavedra García, que montó a Máximo.
Le seguí derecho y yo tomar tanto. Listo para el centro. Listo.
Séptimo lugar para México, Alberto Sánchez Cosar y Abril Ilcha Zeta.
Muy bien. Y también octavo. Muy bien.
Y el octavo lugar también para Alberto Sánchez Cosar y Cátodo. Y le vamos a pedir al ganador, Arturo Parada Vallejo, nos hará favor de encabezar la vuelta de la victoria. Felicidades, jinetes. Ganador Arturo Parada, Manuel González, Federico Fernández, Miki Casar, Patricio Pasquel, José Saavedra y Alberto Sánchez Cosar.
Pues que otra, ¿no? Todavía. A la 1:30. Sí, te falta otra.